I'm just gonna go out there and compete. I don't want to go into spring training. I'm gonna go into it with the same mindset as last year. I got some opportunities last year and I made the most of them. So I'm gonna go in there, not thinking it's my spot. I'm gonna go up there thinking, I need to earn a spot, and that's my mindset the whole spring, whole year. The whole year I want to work, and I want to work to be there and belong there.
As you kind of go through the system and you hear guys talk about the jump from one level to the next and get into the big leagues, what's the difference between hearing about it and preparing for it and then living it? And what do you learn about that experience of living that gap between AAA and the majors and adjusting to it?
Yeah, so you always hear about it, every level there's differences for sure. I thought the biggest jump was from high A to AA. AA to AAA wasn't too bad, but going from trips to majors was a complete shift, because you go from playing some younger guys in the lower levels with a few years of experience. AAA, you got guys with maybe a couple of years, and you go up there and I'm playing next to Goldie and Nato. Those guys both have 10 plus years, so it's like it completely changes the maturity of the game, the pace of play. But the difference, I think everybody just told me that the game would speed up, and I think it did a little bit at first, but with the preparation that our org has given me throughout the system, I think I handled it pretty well as far as the pressure and everything. Obviously didn't perform the way I wanted to, but no, it wasn't too bad. I just did.
Do you learn things about yourself in that, and how you react to it, and how you respond to it? Like, what do you learn from yourself about those situations?
Of course, I'm no stranger to struggle. I struggled pretty much every level I've gone to. Whenever I first gotten up there, I struggled for a little bit, and then worked it out. So definitely learn. I can take a little bit of failure. I definitely don't want to. I'd much rather hit 350 like everybody else, but it's a game of failure. So I'm starting to learn how to mentally accept that. Still a young kid, it feels like, but I'm trying to mature myself a little bit quicker and to be around these guys.
How valuable for your development was it to get your feet wet a little bit at the end of a season, so that now you come into spring and you've had that behind you already to be able to move forward with?
Oh, it's amazing. The thought of me showing up this year and having to maybe go through this first month, and it's a shame that we had a kind of a bad season last year, but I'm glad I got my opportunity towards the end of it. Whenever wins didn't matter as much, but no, I'm super glad I got to go through that. Got to be around some of the guys I'm going to play with this year, so super excited. I think it's going to really help me having that experience at the end of last year.
Makes me describe the offensive struggles at the end of last season. You getting away from the swing that works for you in the majors, or was it the approach of the major league pitchers that was going to force you to change your approach a little bit?
I think it's a little bit of both. I definitely got pitched a lot different than I was in Memphis. Going back and looking at video or some film, I think I definitely see my swing changed a couple times, I think. But I think that's just me, being young and wanting to, maybe going over 10 or so and thinking that's the end of the world, trying to change something up right away. So I think the biggest thing for me was just trying to rush it, trying to change too much too quick. I think a big change was going to happen like this offseason. I think that's a good time for a change. Maybe little tweaks during the season, but I was trying to change too much, I think.
Nice. With the added strength, are you seeing better bat speed? Are you seeing balls go further? Are you doing the analytics and looking at your swing, what it looks like with more strength?
Definitely balls feels like it's coming off a little harder. We don't have the technology that we have here, so it's a little difficult to look at numbers, but weight's gone up, swing's feeling nice, ball's coming off nice, so just everything feels good. Bat's feeling a little bit lighter, so yeah.
Masyn, is there a certain element of your game when you're thinking about what you did in the offseason that you're excited to show off in spring, something that you feel like you've made strides in?
Really just hitting. I think defensively I performed pretty well up until, I had one pretty bad game last year, but I think defensively I'm just going to try to, obviously trying to get better every day, but my main focus has been really just hitting. I want to show up and show the guys I can compete.
What change did you make to swing? Like, what are some of the specific things that you went to work on?
Yeah, really just hip engine stuff. Last year I was jumping out of my legs real quick, jumping at the ball. Really just trying to take the same swing path every single time. I feel like last year, I might not have set my plant foot in the same spot every time, or might have been leaning over my front hip. So really just trying to be consistent with the swing, every single swing. You see guys like Goldie and they're intent to their work in the cages, and whether it be T-work, front toss, whatever it may be, they do the same thing every single time, set up the exact same way. So for me, it's been that, just trying to be consistent. Like I said, the hip hinge stuff for me, trying to get into my legs more. I feel like that, might cause a little bit more power. I had a pretty big scissor kick last year. I have the past couple of years, and that's really unintentional. But I've been trying to cut back on that. I feel like that might get me out of position sometimes. I think it helps me sometimes, but I think for the most part, just having a more standard swing would be better.
Do you remember last year sitting here not kind of knowing what happened during the season? How are you different today than you were a year ago when you got through?
Shoot, man. I mean, last year was great for me. Being around the AAA guys for 3, 4 months, 5 months, and then getting called up with the older guys. I think just the maturity level is a lot different. I think only being a AA last year, being around those guys, we got great guys at every level, but just like I said, the maturity level at each level gets bigger and better. I had great talks last year, great conversations with a lot of people. In fact, Goldie, we sat down for about 2 hours in Milwaukee, had brunch, and just talked. So that was good, but yeah, I'm just ready.
Masyn, do you feel like those last couple of weeks in the majors, did that really direct the changes that you're trying to make this offseason? I mean, 'cause you had good numbers, but at least, it seemed like you performed well in AAA. Did the time in the majors really sort of set the path for what you're doing this offseason?
100%. I mean, I showed up, did not hit very well, but I think the last 2, 3 weeks or so, worked with Turner Ward and Brandon Allen, and we just got to work on what I wanted to work on this offseason. Got some advice from them as far as what tweaks I needed to make and what changes they think needed to be made. We started working on that at the end of the year, and then I just took it into my offseason, trying to get to where I'm at right now.
Masyn said last year that over the course of the long season, you'd lose weight. You wanted to start at a better weight. How much weight have you put on? How much have you eaten the 4,000 calories a day or anything like that?
Nah, definitely no diet plan for me. I'm just trying to eat as much as I can. I think I got down in the 160s last year, so I wanna if I drop this year, I wanna drop to 180. I usually drop 10 to 15 pounds. I don't really know what that may be. I usually don't lose muscle. It's usually a lot of fat, but I think me showing up this year, I want to be around 195 if I can. I need to put on a few more pounds, but I think that would be really good for me. If I lose weight and I drop to 180, 185, I'll still have that strength, and I think it'll help me carry through a 162 game season.
The footwork and load stuff you were talking about, can you do that dry or like in a mirror? Do you have to feel that through the ball? Like, are you a guy who needs to get all the way through your swing to feel that kind of launching the way you want it to? Or can you just repeat it and over and then kind of train that once you get into more live swing stuff?
Obviously I'd much rather have, live action and be swinging, bat to ball, but I can look in a mirror and tell myself whether or not, whether I might be leaning forward, leaning back, on my tippy toes. So, no, for sure, I can just look in a mirror and pretty much get it.
Is that a thing where, on video, you can watch can you watch yourself load on video and know this was a good swing versus a bad swing before you kind of see yourself go through? I don't know, where in your swing path do you see it not being where you want to be?
Pretty much immediately. Last year, whenever I would lift my left leg, for my leg kick, I would really just jump out. So immediately you can kind of see a shift going this way,
Sure,
rather than a hinge twisting this way while this leg's moving forward. So I think if you have the best angle would be the front camera, seeing me from this way.
yeah.
But yeah, I think pretty much immediately I can tell if it's going to be a good or bad swing.
How much of that was this trying to maybe force the production, or thinking that you had to be that far ahead, or jumping out is sometimes an anxious moment?
I think it was a fear of striking out. Me not being the biggest guy in the world, I want to get on base, as much as Tommy Edman or Lars Newbar might. So for me, I think it was just, I don't want to strike out. I want to show these guys I can compete. And I think that was causing me to swing at some pitches I shouldn't have been swinging at, trying to battle early, not 2 strike counts, swinging at pitches I didn't need to swing at.
How much did you and Jordan kind of reflect on? You both went through this experience together, and how much have you tried to motivate each other this all season? I know the way you guys text each other and trash talk to each other. How much have you tried to drive each other?
Oh, every day. We go back and forth, whether it might be video games or weight gain. He told me he gained a whole bunch of weight, so that pushed me to gain even more. So I was excited about myself, and then he let me down a little bit. You know, I gained. I'm 260 now. I mean, we talk a lot. I mean, that's my guy. You know, obviously, he had a great year last year, especially rookie season. But I mean, yeah, he's working every day. You know, he's working defensively. Obviously, I said he gained some weight, so I'm sure he'll come back hitting bombs. But yeah, I mean, we're super excited. Definitely talking about last year. I mean, he obviously knows how bad I struggled and you know what we went through, but it's I think it'll be a lot of fun this year.
Where have you been working out? Are you in Texas? Or are you down in Florida? Where have you been spending your off season?
I'm down where it's warm. I'm in Houston for sure. No Texas, by the way.
Masyn, how much do you see that your stolen base ability being a vital part of your game at the big league level? Obviously, at the minors, you've done that, but how much do you believe that can still be a factor for you in the bigs?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I didn't run too much last year. I didn't get on base a lot, so I didn't get too many opportunities. But no, I mean, you see guys like Tommy taking, you know, a bag, and Goldie hits a broken bat single, and he ends up scoring on it. I mean, that's a big deal. You know, each run counts. So, no, I think it'll be huge for me. I mean, being a speed guy, I need to get, you know, at least 20, 30 bags a year. So, I think for me that'll be just an every year thing. I mean, not too worried about it. Speed for me is the least of my concerns, I think. So yeah, I mean that'll just come.
Does that mindset kind of coincide with you saying, I want to be a guy that gets on base, and you know, you get to second base with the stolen base, that's another way to kind of produce power in a way, or get yourself into scoring position?
100%. I mean, it also helps the guys around me, helps the team. You know, it's exciting. You know, I feel like when Ricky Henderson was running around everywhere, everybody was having a good time watching him run, and you know, whether he was out or safe, he was putting his team, you know, for the most part, in a great spot. So for me, you know, whether it be, you know, 8 spot, 9 spot, if I get on base and get to second with Tommy Edman or Lars Newbar coming up, you know, I like our chances. So I think it does help the team a lot. You know, turning a single into a double is a big deal. You know, if Jordan hits a single, he might not get that steal, but for me, it's a little different. So.
Masyn, when it comes to the defensive side, I mean, where do you feel like you made some strides in last year at shortstop?
I think just the consistency. I mean, every year I've gotten a little bit more consistent. You know, working with Cheo at the beginning of the year, every year has always gotten me right. I think throughout the years it's just gotten better. Then when I got up, Stubby Clive, I worked with him, and he's a lefty, and I don't know if y'all have ever taken fungo, but taking fungo from Stubby, hitting lefty backspin, hitting sliders at you. I mean, taking grounders from him really prepares you for the game. It feels, I mean, it's probably harder than the game actually is. So I think just working with those two guys has got me ready. I mean, every year I feel like I've gotten better, and you know, I want to get better every year.
So you're familiar with?
What do you expect to see from Jordan?
I mean, shoot, I expect to see Jordan Walker things. I mean, I've seen him play for 3-4 years now. I mean, he's only gotten bigger and better every year. You know, obviously went out last year, 21 years old, and competed almost the full year. You know, got called down a little bit, which is very difficult. I feel like on a 20-year-old, and gets called back up, and then just competes the rest of the year. So I think he's going to show up this year. You know, handle business. He doesn't hear a lot of outside noise, so you know, the media doesn't really affect him, or you know, comments don't really affect him. He's really just going to go out there, you know, play for his family, play for his brothers, and yeah, I think he'll have a great year again.
And his confidence kind of rubs off on you too, like you guys are like,
Oh, I mean, if he's going, I feel like I'm going a little bit. You know, whenever he hits a double, I feel like part of me hit a double. So, and I know he feels the same way. So yeah, I mean, when we're rolling together, it's a lot of fun.
Masyn, speaking of your confidence, this is a critical start of the year, 2024, coming off of a disappointing 2023 season. The team's going to rely on you as a starting shortstop. How much confidence does that instill in you, knowing that the team, under all this pressure, has this confidence in you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, throughout the whole minor league system, they've always trusted in me, always believed in me. You know, gave me the most support I could ever imagine. But yeah, I mean, it feels great. I mean, last year, getting the call up, and then obviously struggling, and then them still putting me in every day, and getting that work and getting that experience, it feels great. You know, I mean, it makes me really want to be here for a long time. You know, win championships here for a long time.
Masyn, obviously you respect a lot of your teammates from growing up in the system, but is there a certain player you're looking forward to seeing make that jump this year, whether it's AAA to the bigs or single A to AAA, whatever it is?
I got 2 guys, I'll say. One of ours just got added to the 40-man, Pedro Pajas. He's a catcher. I don't know how he gets up this year. but I mean, he's just a great guy to be around. Everybody that I've ever met loves him. But yeah, just a great person. And then Tink Hens, he's one of him and Jordan, probably my best friends in the whole world. Tink called me last night talking about how much fun he's having. He can't wait for the season. So for me, it'd probably be Tink. I mean, I know how unbelievable he is, and I can't wait for a lot of other people to see that in person. And I get to see that at Busch.
With Tink, I mean, how much have you been able just to keep up with what his stuff looks like and how he's developed as he's gotten more innings? I don't know if you've been pretty limited in the first couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, so last year when he started in high A, that was obviously we had been together all spring training, and he started there. We were both pretty disappointed in it. We thought, personally, I thought he was going to start a little bit higher, but no, I mean, checking in with him every week, seeing how his start's going, seeing how he's throwing, how he's feeling. He had a little bit of an injury last year, like I think a chest injury, but came back doing his thing. And I think the biggest thing for him is just staying healthy. I mean, everybody knows how good he is, so I think for him it's just being consistent, staying healthy. You see guys like Garrett Cole throwing 250 innings, so it's if Tink can do that, and really that'd be really big for us.
Vic, how well do you know Victor Scott? He's talked about he wants to model himself after what you and Jordan did. He's watched you guys and looked up to you kind of. Have you been able to talk to him, or do you know him well at all?
Yeah, for sure. Last year we got pretty close in spring training. He out there in the outfield, so I didn't get to see him too much. But talking to him during VP or whatnot, he's a very interesting cat. I mean, he's different for sure, but super exciting. I mean, watching that dude run, watching that dude make plays. I mean, it's for me watching the highlights is one of the best parts. It's seeing him rob a home run, jumping 13 feet in the air. It's like it's different. So I'd like to see that for sure in person. I haven't got to see it too much, but yeah, I can't wait to play with that guy.